like laugh lovingly, as it were, at their drawbacks, because they're kind of slightly intense, these characters, so their sort of single-mindedness probably will cause them a few issues with just everyday life, so you kind of laugh at them and with them.
You've been enjoying it with your boys.
I have been, yeah. It's not the sort of show I'd watch without them, but it's a good show to watch with teenagers. It's got enough in it to keep you happy as well.
Great. I had a lovely 15 minutes with my kids last night who accidentally saw a trailer for Australian Ninja Warrior when the news was on. We don't even usually have the news on, but we chucked it on. They saw that and they said, "Please, Dad, please, can we watch a bit?" And that was great fun to watch with the family.
So great to watch with the family. I used to watch it with the American version when my kids were little, and then we'd have to build an obstacle course.
Behind closed doors, but often unseen, because from the outside this looks like a entirely different place from when we come into it and have a look. So that's all been great. And then this evening I've got a fundraiser or a function out in Otahuhu, I think this year, Otahuhu, and we're going to be seeing our candidates in those particular areas, and we'll be meeting the local communities.
Cook Islands.
Just come down a bit like everyone else, so we can get a clean photo.
Yeah, okay, yeah. My face. Okay. So,
Cook Islands
yeah.
travel bubble,
Yeah.
10 days, officials will start working on a potential plan. Is that, what do you make of that timing?
Well, I thought it was interesting timing, and I've always said that Cook Islands was obviously the first place to start. We're going to talk travel bubbles, but it's always got to be safe. And I also heard that the government has said that maybe by Christmas. Well, I just wonder what's happening here. We've got some mixed messages going on. On the one hand, we've got Ashley Bloomfield, as the Director General of Health, starting to talk about COVID level 2 and also face masks. And then, on the other hand, we've got now the government saying that maybe by December it will be safe to have a travel bubble with Cook Islands. What's going to be different between now and December? I'd like them to front up with the details on it.
Should testing be part of any regime? We're talking about health check warnings, health and temperature, that sort of thing. Should it be testing?
I think it's very important to take the advice of the medical experts on this, and if they believe that there should be testing, then I would have thought so. But what I can't understand is quite what's the difference between, say, October and December. Is it safe? Then is it going to take them that long to do anything? Is it going to take them that long to decide? And it's a very strange sort of announcement to have right now in the middle of an election campaign, to say that they're thinking about having an announcement or something happening in December. It sounds very odd. So I just don't know what's changed, and I think they should explain it.
Is the government moving fast enough on that bubble with the Cook?
Well, I think what they should be doing is explaining why that's taking that time, and what's going to differ between, say, October and December, apart from the fact that there'll be a better government in charge, which will be one led by me. So clearly there's something that they think is different, and I've got these mixed messages in the last few days with the Director General of Health talking about COVID lockdown level 2 and face masks, and people are saying, well, hang on, what's going on here? There's a mixed message going on, so I'm not quite sure too why the Cabinet would be making a decision to, at some stage, have an announcement in December. I mean, it's a little bit premature, isn't it?
If we're talking about realm country, should Niue be in the mix at the same time? If we're talking about realm country, should Niue be in the mix at the same time as the Cooks?
Well, it seems to me whatever
Another good good thing to watch with teenagers. If you want to give them some examples of perfect sitcom writing, this is the one to watch. But also, you can see how it's dated. Like, a lot of the episodes are just, so beautifully and perfectly formed. But Jerry's stand-up routines are so dated. It's all like lots of him musing about the differences between men and women and sort of dating. And it's kind of like no one talks like that anymore.
Yeah.
It's like you almost put your head in your hands.
I guess any sort of comedy show will become problematic if you... Fawlty Towers has had similar sorts of problems recently if you wait long enough. But the writing is beautiful, even if the subject matter doesn't hold up. Thanks,
Exactly.
Caitlin.
No problem.
Nice to chat. Caitlin Shear. Oh, Kiki D, by the way.
Huh?
Kiki D.
Ah, yes, it was too.
Elton John and Kiki
Yep,
D.
great song.
Sung Don't Go Breaking My Heart. Kiki D, otherwise known as Pauline Matthews. Okay, it's 22 minutes past 2, and we're going to go to the latest episode of Black Sheep. William Ray is looking at Stuart Smith today, a man who was infamous among freshwater scientists and environmentalists between the 1960s and 2000s. Smith led a one-man crusade introducing more than 15,000 exotic fish to New Zealand's waterways.
He can be positioned alongside the folks that brought us rabbits and stoats and possums.
This is Brian Winters. He's a Tauranga-based author who wrote an authorised biography of Stuart Smith. It's called That Pommy Bastard.
He can be positioned there, no question about that.
Initially, I thought the title of Brian's book was maybe a little bit harsh, but it turns out Stuart Smith himself suggested it. He asked for the book to be written as part of his will after he died in 2008. That might tell you something about his character and his sense of humour. If you want to understand why Stuart Smith dedicated so much of his life to illegal fish introduction, you have to go back to his childhood. Smith was born in 1913 in the East End of London. In the early 1900s, the East End was surrounded by small ponds, the legacy of workers digging out clay for building brick houses. These ponds were Stuart Smith's playground. Years later, he wrote about catching fish as a 5-year-old kid with a homemade rod.
It was just as much fun as a marlin is for a grown-up and considerably less expensive.
Looking in from the outside, it seems like a pretty good start in life for a working-class kid. But in the summer holidays of 1928, when Smith turned 15, his life changed forever.
My father said quite casually, "You're not going back to school. You're going to New Zealand."
Stuart Smith said he accepted this decision to ship him and his brother to the other side of the world pretty quickly. And that might be because things in his house had been going bad for a while.
I knew something was radically wrong. When I was in bed and my parents were in the kitchen, I'd heard my father horribly abusing me mother because my younger sister was born, and I knew they had real money problems. I also knew that me father loved gambling.